Welcome to Sequify, everybody. My name is Riley Elmanson. I'm the Chief Sales Officer here, and today I've got our CEO, Roshan Kumar. Roshan, catch me up to speed with Sequify. We just raised, so fill me in on that, and then kind of fill me in on where this all started. Why are we here?
Yeah, of course. As the guys probably saw, we just raised $6.7 million to truly disrupt the 1099 contractor world across all different industries, including home services. How it started is super different, non-traditional story, because that was right after I had the exit from my pest control business, was coming out of the industry, being there for 5 years, like seeing commissions being the biggest pain point. Retention was always hard. And I was just trying to dive into solar. So that's when I started my solar business. And as I was starting the solar business, I just realized I can't scale this if I don't solve the commissions problem, which really led me to understanding the deeper reason of why this is a big problem. And as we start taking the layers off and we start talking to CEOs of nationwide companies, which were doing over a couple $100 million in revenue, and met with the CFOs just to understand how are you running commissions. And they just showed me spreadsheets over spreadsheets, like 40, 50 spreadsheets just to calculate comp. That was the time. I was like, there has to be done. And there has to be a better way to solve this instead of using Google Excel sheets. So that led me to move to Utah, and we started building Sequifi. So
Awesome. And what is the overall mission, right? It's obviously the end of Excel, right? We want to get everybody away from spreadsheets.
Yep.
But what's the overall mission of Sequify?
The mission is to truly help these workers get valued for what they work for. And that comes down to how they get paid is transparent and accurate. And also helping the business owners on being able to scale their business, because they do work hard. And I think a lot of the times their work doesn't get noticed because they're doing a lot of these tedious things, which they can be using for a better purpose of their business. So it's how can we scale or help these businesses scale really fast? And how can we help the end user, which is the worker, get valued for their work?
Yeah, I remember over a decade ago when I started in the space of, I got a paycheck and I didn't really know what came with it. So, that's kind of how things have been, and that's what we're really here to disrupt. So on top of that, what are really the main pain points? I know you mentioned a lot of CFOs are using spreadsheets and a lot of reps are not having that visibility. So on top of that, what pain points do you actually see because of those issues?
Yeah, I think the biggest one is retaining your workers. I think it's the biggest issue which we have seen across every company in the entire home service space. And when you truly look at that, it's not just a problem of retention. It's actually a margin problem. It's actually a COGS problem. It's actually a growth problem. Because if you're able to spend, $5,000 to retain a single worker to work for you for another year versus spending $10,000 to find a new worker, the talent comparison is one very different. When you train someone, when they're skilled, they're working for you, the value for them to stay in the company is way more than finding a new worker. Yep. So I think that is the number one problem, which I think exists across all of these industries. And when you start realizing how do we solve that, it's actually the solution is to provide them a transparent, easy, trackable way to see their pay so that they can trust their employer. And once they can trust their employer, your retention will skyrocket. It'll just be way higher than it was before.
Huge. Providing that trust, giving that transparency for the end user, right?
Correct.
To be able to see everything. No, I love that. So talk to me about the team. Talk to me about what's going on, what's the growth, where are we headed from here?
Yeah, no, we had a great start. I mean, we hope to continue that growth. We had a 10x growth last year. We are right now on track to do another 3x, and hopefully we can continue to keep growing at this stage. One of the very unique differentiators for us, and when we're finding new talent to work with us, is they have to have experience being in this space, either as a worker or as a business owner or as a leader. So that's what makes us really different, is everyone in the team which works in the US is actually from the home service background. And I think that's very hard to really build. It took us a lot of time. We were growing very slowly, and it's very hard to find talent who's actually experienced. But if we didn't do that the right way, they wouldn't be able to understand the pain point of these business owners and sales reps. And for me, it's a very emotional problem because I was in their shoes and I was a worker who was not trusting their employer. Right. So it's important to distinguish that factor, because if you can bring people who have more passion to solve this problem, then the problem already is easier to solve versus solving this just from a tech perspective. So for us, what we were able to do is bring in those people who come from this background, bring in the expertise from tech, business, marketing, sales, and combine all of those together to create a really good team. And that's who we are today.
right? Not just a tech company to build tech for tech.
Exactly.
It's understanding the problem, living the problem, and now trying to solve for that problem.
Yep.
So that's Sequify. Follow us along on our journey. Click the link, follow the socials. We'll see you around.